What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and yes, I finally finished Twisted Metal Season 2. So we're gonna talk about it. It's funny, like once I'm done with all my recaps, I freed up like all this like TV show space, and I'm finally getting to release all these reviews for the TV shows that I finished, including Twisted Metal, which like wrapped a couple weeks ago, but we're finally getting around to it. So yeah, I liked season 1, and so I went into season 2. It's on Peacock. I am deeply not a fan of the audio description. I am the antithesis of fan of, whatever the opposite of fan is. Uh, a hater of, I guess. Call me a hater, I guess. I don't know. But Diffuse, I'm not a huge fan of Diffuse. They make audio description. The weird thing is, I don't have a problem with this lady's voice, this actor. I don't know what her name is, the narrator. I've learned Diffuse likes to work with two narrators, her and Vito. And now Vito, I've heard him work on other projects where he's gotten to say his name before. I have not heard her voice. And the weird thing is that I have now come to associate, it's almost like PTSD. When I hear her voice, I'm like, fuck. Like on a new show, I'm just like, fuck, this show's gonna have at best mediocre audio description. At best, mediocre audio description. Whatever companies, it's just they're clearly cutting corners, and they're using like brand new writers or something who just don't understand. There's nothing wrong with her voice as a narrator. She should be working on better projects. Like, perfectly fine narrator. I don't understand why she keeps getting attached to like ridiculously like ill-suited audio description that is clearly lacking, where you constantly have things that are referred to visually that are never brought up in the audio description, but people are clearly looking at something and talking about something and it's never mentioned in the audio description. There was a scene in one of the earlier episodes where two people are killed off. Nothing was audio described in that scene. So it's so frustrating. And it's like, so do I applaud it for the couple of things when it does get it right? No. I just still say it's inadequate audio description. So I because my belief is, having heard so much audio description up to this point, it is impossible for me to think that a more experienced writer from a different studio that actually cares wouldn't have delivered better audio description. I fully believe that 100% with my heart, that I could have passed this on to a dozen different writers and we would have gotten way better audio description, with the same narrator, by the way. I think we could have, I think it's a writing problem. And I think that starts with the studio being complacent in what they're willing to put out. I think if there is a quality check phase, I would put it on them. Because if you're a QC person and you're seeing things that are happening on screen but aren't mentioned in the audio description track, whether you're sighted or blind, a sighted person should know better. And then a blind person should have flagged things and been like, what is that? What was that? What happened here? Why didn't we talk about that? Force them to redo it. Make better audio description. Don't just pass on shitty audio description because we're trying to like save money and cut corners. This is NBC Universal. They have fucking money. Make them pay for it. We win nothing by continuing to propagate the world with shitty audio description at a time when they're trying to use AI. These companies want to use AI really bad. They want to use it. They want to use synthetic voice. They want to figure out how to cut the corners anyway. And if you're already doing them the favor and you're human, you're not doing the industry any favor. So promptly fuck off. But I do like Twisted Metal. Would I come back for a third season? I think they kind of overplay their hand here a little bit. I thought Anthony Carrigan was intriguing this season as Calypso. He especially gets a lot more fun towards the end, when he starts getting this like really sort of maniacal laughter to him. I thought he got a lot more fun and over the top. But yeah, we get the same sort of characters returning. So everybody from season 1, anchored by Anthony Mackie and Stephanie Beatriz, playing John Doe and Quiet, and of course the standout Will Arnett, uh, playing Sweet Tooth, who when it looked like he may not make it, I was like, no, I'm done. I will not watch the show without Will Arnett. So that's kind of my big season 3 thing, is because the way the show ends, and I don't want to spoil it. It doesn't. It kind of says it's like, okay, he is there, like, and he could be a part of season 3, but they're kind of really ambiguous about what he would be doing in season 3, or how big of a part he would be. And that's, like, he's the best thing about the show. Will Arnett doing the voice for Sweet Tooth he's endlessly entertaining. I wish he'd gotten an Emmy nomination for season 1, because he made me watch. This show is not very good. It's very campy. It feels very like, it feels like a high budget show that has to be made for a low budget, and so they're cutting corners. Like, you can even feel that in the way that they tell the story. So they lean in on the comedy, but who leans on the comedy the most? Will Arnett. Will Arnett's character is hilarious. I think he understands the comedic timing, and I'm absolutely here for it. And I would still consider voting for him for supporting actor for season 2, because I think he just deserves the recognition. They did make a swap for they swapped Nev Campbell out for Patty Guggenheim, which makes the story weird and unnecessary. And they like swapped it, and they wrote this, and they were trying to like justify it. I'm like, does nobody want to pay Nev Campbell anymore? Because they keep just trying to write her out of things. How much money does Nev Campbell want to be in things? Like, I need to know these answers, because, like, it's baffling. It didn't go well for Scream, right? So they ended up having to come back to her for Scream 7, because for decisions they never needed to make in the first place, about Melissa Barrera, which now seem old hat. By the time we get to Scream 7, people are going to wonder where Melissa Barrera is. Nobody's going to care why she wasn't in Scream 7. So, and the lack of Jenna Ortega. So the new kids they introduced are not there. We're going back to Nev Campbell, who they weren't willing to pay for Scream 6, but they are willing to pay for Scream 7 because they have no other choice. So here with Twisted Metal, they wrote like an entirely different plot. And I love Patty Guggenheim. I was introduced to her brilliance in She-Hulk, where she stole the show. I'm still waiting for that character to get a spinoff. I need it in my life so bad. She needs to enter the Marvel Cinematic Universe officially. But I still wouldn't have done it. Like, unless she's wanting like millions per episode, I just do not understand why Nev Campbell is not in the show. So the plot this season, just Calypso has promised this, that if all these people make it to his thing for this competition, that the winner will get their greatest wish fulfilled. Along the way, John meets his sister, Krista, who they reunite after the first time. They also pick up a new character, Mayhem, who is this young girl that joins Quiet and John and Krista on the way, and some other interesting faces along that they really don't do anything with. There are a whole bunch of like people in here that I feel like are like, they're in the video games, so we have to put them in here at some point, and they're just throwing them in here. But they didn't really flesh out the characters at all. Like, there's one like ice queen lady that she gets so little screen time. I'm like, are you from the game? Like, fans of your character from the game aren't gonna like. It'd be like if you did a Mortal Kombat movie and Sub-Zero was there for like 2 seconds. You'd be like, what the? Why even put him there? Like, sometimes the cameo isn't worth it. So, but yeah, but then you get to Twisted Metal in the competition, and people get sort of weeded out slowly one by one. And with the obvious people being weeded out first, into the sort of less obvious people who are left behind, and it's a lot of silliness and a whole bunch of different racers from all over the place. But I did enjoy it, and the ending does leave open a door for season 3, but also I don't need it. But because season 2 ends, it makes such an effort to make a call for season 3. The story now isn't really complete without it. But I kind of just I was relegated to the idea that, well, like, this is fine, because it's not like they can have another car competition now. They can't have another Twisted Metal. So I think season 3 may go beyond what it needs to, and maybe jumping the shark. But I think season 2 delivered on the promise. It's weird to think of as a two season show, but yeah, I think maybe that's what we need here. I'm not going to go super high on a score for Twisted Metal, A, because the audio description is just hot ass, and B, because, it's it's not necessarily prestige television, although separately, I do wish Will Arnett would be recognized. I wish the people who recognize prestige television would also get behind Will Arnett as a hybrid performance of some kind, a voice performance. Wherever you can fit him in, he deserves to be recognized for his work here, because he's a standout, hilarious, and the reason to watch the show. Because I would not watch this if they announced that Twisted Metal was returning for a 3rd season, but Will Arnett was not returning. I would not watch it. They're gone. It'd be off my watch list. So not even a little bit. I wouldn't even be intrigued. They could add people. They could be like, Brad Pitt is joining Twisted Metal in place. I would be like, okay, good for him. Not intrigued. So, yeah. I get that way with series where there's like an anchor character, and if you take the anchor character away, I'm out. And I've left shows over that. I've been like, nope, can't do it. So, I'm gonna give Twisted Metal. I feel like I can't really go too high here because of, like, it is campy. This feels like exactly the kind of thing that Sci-Fi used to make as an original series, but isn't allowed to make anymore because we have streaming and cable shows don't really exist as much. I know they're trying to make like the Rainmaker happen, but let's face it, it's also on Peacock. So, yeah, this does feel like the kind of thing Sci-Fi would have made like 10 years ago. I'm gonna give it like a 7.1 out of 10. So I like the show. Also, we're losing some points because the audio description is terrible. Just awful audio description. I really just dislike this track so much. And this is not the worst that Diffuse has done either. I mean, this is actually on. I mean, Diffuse has done better. That's what I meant to say. This is among the worst that Diffuse has done. They have done better before. That was confusing. I'm so sorry. So this is not the worst that they've ever done, but it was near the bottom, because it is a very visually necessary show, and they do not do their job, their due diligence. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.